Hi, thank you for joining us today for a presentation on traveling gluten-free. I'm Janelle Smith. I'm a registered dietitian with UCLA Health, the Digestive Disease Nutrition Program, and the Celiac Disease Program. When talking about traveling gluten-free, we're going to discuss several considerations that you'll need to keep in mind when planning your travel, and lots of tips and ideas for accommodations that may help you to really enjoy your travel. So ultimately, we want to highlight that there are so many joys of traveling, even with a gluten-related disorder. So first off, let's talk about travel, how we get there. The length of time of travel as well as the mode of transportation is really going to affect a lot of things, as will the lodging, such as will you have access to preparing your own food? Will you have access to refrigeration or any cooking supplies? Are they shared cooking supplies or can they be dedicated so you can ensure that they're safely gluten-free? What is the location you'll be staying in? Are there grocery stores nearby? Are there local restaurants? What are the local labeling laws? What even is the cuisine of the place you're visiting, and how flexible can that be to a gluten-free diet? And absolutely, if there are any language differences, that can be one of the most important parts to navigate. So if you're traveling by road in the car, maybe a road trip, these are some tips for where to stop along the way to ensure that you are fed. Many coffee shops will have naturally gluten-free snacks like string cheese, dried fruit, fresh fruit. I also really like a latte or a smoothie if they can just ensure that they have rinsed the equipment that they are using. Many bagged chips are naturally gluten-free, and some bars are also gluten-free. Then again, you could always make sure that you have your own snacks by packing a cooler to have with you. You could pack your own sandwich, tuna salad, pasta salad, additional fruit, even cut up fruit would be nice, crackers and hummus, cheese, or eggs and deli meat are all really easy to bring in your cooler and put together a nice meal. Sometimes it's possible to navigate fast food while on the road, although not always, so it's good to investigate before you head out. At some places, you may be able to ask for a protein-style burger that has no bun, as long as you can ensure that the grill can be cleaned so it's free of cross-contact with gluten. Many milkshakes, smoothies, and beverages will be naturally gluten-free, or perhaps a salad if you can bring your own dressing that you ensure is gluten-free, or you can discuss with them what ingredients are in their dressing. There's even a fast food restaurant that has baked potato and chili that is naturally gluten-free, so that can be a nice option. Remember that French fries that are fried in a shared fryer are not considered safely gluten-free for people with celiac disease. Then we have mini marts with a lot of snack and convenience food options, as well as a roadside diner, which may also be likely to have a baked potato, a salad, or fried eggs. The reason why I don't recommend scrambled eggs is that some pre-prepared liquid egg mixtures may actually have flour added them to thicken them. So if you're concerned about navigating that situation, always choose just a fried or over easy egg. Then if you're traveling by train or tour bus or cruise, you're a little more subject to the rules of that vehicle that you're traveling on. So it's very important to do research before you leave. In many places in the US, you can bring your own food onto trains and tour buses. And unfortunately, many of the main train companies do not offer gluten-free options. So it would be difficult to navigate ahead of time and show up and not be able to eat anything. So I always recommend bringing your own food. On a cruise, there often are a lot of gluten-free options. So be sure to discuss this prior to booking as well as once you arrive and check in. Most have many safe dining options, such as a dedicated kitchen space, gluten-free pancakes, pasta, baked goods, and bread. Just be mindful of navigating and communicating a lot with your host on the cruise. When we're flying by plane, we're also limited by what we can bring with us. And currently, security rules very much dictate the type of food and the quantity of food that we may be bringing with us. So be very mindful of not bringing on larger quantities of foods that may be considered liquids, gels. For example, yogurt and peanut butter occasionally will be confiscated or tested or challenged in flight passengers. However, your medical provider could offer you a letter of medical necessity to provide to TSA that will help you to bypass this restriction. And here's an example of such a letter, some that we provide for our patients here at the UCLA Celiac Program. Provides resources for accessing accommodations with disabilities when traveling. Many major airlines do offer gluten-free snack and meal options. However, some of them require pre-ordering. So it's important to request it when you book the flight, as well as when you check in for your flight to confirm that they're in stock and that they will be on the plane during your flight. Here are just some of the options that several major airlines currently have available. Many snack foods that are naturally gluten-free, and occasionally some gluten-free starches like gluten-free crackers or cookies. The next step in our journey is the lodging. So once we've arrived at our destination, what kind of accommodations should we be asking for to ensure that we can have a really enjoyable trip? I'd recommend choosing places that do have designated gluten-free menus, whether it's at the hotel, the lodging, or the nearby restaurants. Be sure to communicate before, during, constantly about your needs and about making sure that your lodging area is able to take precautions to prevent cross contact with gluten. It's even best if the hotel or other lodging space has a dedicated preparation, storage space, and equipment for their gluten-free items to really reduce the risk of cross contact with gluten-containing items in their space. I guess if this isn't an option, could you request your own personal food preparation and storage options, such as a mini fridge, a separate part of the kitchen, or can you work with the concierge to help coordinate some local dining recommendations? So here are some ideas for various types of lodging. And many of these I have done myself. So let's say you're staying in a hotel room with no option for a microwave or a fridge. Well, guess what? You can use that coffee maker to make hot water and fill your gluten-free oatmeal cup that you've brought from home. You could also clean the iron, put in a barrier, and use that to warm up some toast or make a grilled cheese. And we can buy toaster bags that provide a barrier in between our gluten-free bread and any shared toaster that maybe could be used at a continental breakfast. At continental breakfasts, which are often included in the price of the room, you may not have as many options. But some naturally gluten-free options include hard-boiled eggs, yogurt, fruit, and peanut butter. Be sure to bring your own gluten-free bread, muffins, oatmeal, etc., as well as a toaster bag if you'd like some hot bread. Now, let's say you're staying in a hotel room that does have a mini fridge and a microwave. Now you have a lot more options. For example, you can keep perishable items like similar to what you would take on a road trip or keep in a cooler, such as cheese sticks, deli meat, yogurt, fruit, vegetables, and eggs. Again, bring your own gluten-free starches to make sure that you can turn these snacks into a more complete meal. Here are just some examples of prepackaged, non-perishable items that you can bring while you're traveling. We've got everything from snack foods, to bars, to tuna, brown rice, and even beans that are microwavable. So you really could make a meal out of some of these. Finally, we want to think about the cuisine of the location where we're visiting, as many cuisines can be very easy or very difficult to modify to be safe for someone with celiac disease. Be sure to research this a lot ahead of time and come prepared where you're going. So, many Southeast Asian countries, for example, may have naturally gluten-free rice noodles, fish sauce, or coconut-based sauces. Rice and chickpeas and curry sauce are often completely gluten-free. Seafood, meat, proteins that are not marinated. However, if they are marinated, be aware of soy sauce in most Asian countries. Avoid any noodles, which are made with wheat when traveling. In South America, rice, beans, corn, tapioca-based products, even plantains are very easy to enjoy. In Africa and the Middle East, we have naturally gluten-free foods like teff, millet, lentils, and cassava. Some European cuisines can be very challenging to navigate, but many of these countries actually include allergen labeling on packaged foods and in restaurants, making it easier to identify products that contain gluten. So be sure to do your research so that you can still enjoy. Here are some tools that some people use to make sure that they're able to communicate their dietary needs wherever they're at. So online, you can purchase or you can make your own travel advisory card, which includes all the information about celiac disease or your diet restrictions, and then translated into the language wherever you're traveling. A newer option is Google Translate, which is so convenient and can really help you to translate both from English to another language, as well as for you to help to understand product labels, menus that may be written in a language that you don't understand. Using the tips that we've talked about in today's presentation, I really hope that you can rediscover the joys of traveling with a gluten-free lifestyle. There are many pre-planned trips, travel blogs, and guidebooks specifically designed for the gluten-free diet. And using those, it can actually be really exciting to discover new places. A couple other resources I wanted to mention are two apps, Find Me Gluten-Free and Atlee, that can help with locating local bakeries and restaurants wherever you are, as well as this online guide to worldwide dedicated gluten-free restaurants. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, so share them below. Where do you recommend traveling? Where have you had a great experience dining gluten-free? Thank you so much for joining us.